Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to this weekly Friday meeting of KMA, and the first one for this month. I would request all of us to stand for a silent prayer. Friends, as we all know, we have a doyen from the travel industry today addressing us. May I welcome our chief guest of the day, Mr. Sidarth Dominic, to our midst. Welcome, Sidarth. And for the formal welcome, I would request our Vice President and Program Committee Chair, Mr. Aljas Khalid.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome to all the esteemed members of KMA, our distinguished speaker of the day, Sidarth Dominic, President Rup Noran, our elected managing committee member, Mr. Baiju Manipal, who is officiating today as the secretary in the absence of our honorary secretary, Anil Joseph, Dr. Anil Joseph. MC members, I can see Karta here. Past President Shastri is there, and student chapter members from SCMS. It's indeed KMA's pleasure to host this Leader Insight session on wellness, tourism, the latest global travel trends, where we gather to discuss a subject of significant relevance, not just to Kerala, but also to global travel landscape. Wellness tourism is one of the fastest growing sectors in the travel industry, valued at $817 billion in 2022. And it is projected to reach $1.3 trillion in 2027. But the speaker told me that's even bigger. He says it's about $7 trillion. Travelers today seek much more leisure than what immersive experience that enhances the physical and mental well-being. Wellness tourism encompasses a broad range of services from yoga and meditation retreat to spa therapies, ecotourism, and more. Kerala has long been celebrated as a wellness hub, especially for Ayurveda, yoga, and holistic healing. In 2022, Kerala welcomed around 2 lakh international tourists, many of whom who specifically came for wellness, what Kerala was offering. With the rise of global wellness trends, Kerala has the potential to strengthen its reputation by integrating modern wellness practices while staying rooted in the rich traditions. Globally, we are witnessing several key trends in wellness tourism. A growing number of travelers are seeking to disconnect from technology and rejuvenate in serene natural environment for digital detox. Secondly, travelers are prioritizing eco-friendly, sustainable destinations and that Kerala's responsible tourism initiatives that makes it well positioned to cater the demands of sustainable travel. There are also rising interests in retreats focused on mental health and mindfulness, creating an opportunity for Kerala to tap into the growing niche. Technology is also playing a bigger role with innovations like virtual wellness consultation and AI-driven personalized health plan becoming popular. It is my honor to introduce our speaker for today, Mr. Sidarth Dominic, the CEO of CGH Earth Wellness, a leader in promoting sustainable and wellness-focused tourism. Under his stewardship, CGH Earth has become synonymous with responsible tourism, emphasizing sustainability, local communities, and holistic well-being. Mr. Dominic has spent over 2 decades shaping the future of experimental wellness tourism, blending the values of environmental stewardship with luxury and comfort. His visionary leadership has placed CGH Earth at the forefront of offering authentic and transformative wellness experience that align with the latest global travel trends. Whether it's a concept of integrating wellness with nature or focusing on eco-conscious community-driven initiatives. His approach has set new standards in the industry. CGH Earth wellness properties are known for their commitment to sustainability, minimal environmental impact, and their deep integration with local cultures. They have pioneered responsible wellness retreats that promote both physical well-being and mental rejuvenation, making them a favorite among wellness tourists from across the globe. Given his vast experience and innovative approach, I am confident that Mr. Dominic will provide us with invaluable insight today on how Kerala can not only sustain but also lead in the global wellness tourism sector. Our MC member, Mr. Baiju Manipal, who is very closely associated with Sidarth Dominic and better person to share his personal side. I'm sure he will do that during his vote of thanks. I encourage all of you to actively engage in today's discussion and explore the opportunities that wellness tourism present for Kerala. Let us dive deep into the latest trends and learn how we can position our state at the cutting edge of the growing industry. Thank you all for your time, and I look forward to a stimulating and informative session after the presidential address today. Over to President.
Warm good evening to all of you once again. Normally, I got to prepare for a presidential address because of the subject involved or the speaker involved. But in today's case, I thought I will speak something totally different because Sidarth happens to be a good friend of mine. And we've been knowing each other for years together. In fact, I would say that my association with the CGH Earth or Casino Group, the family, started 30 years back when I joined the Rotary Club of Cochin West, where his dad, Mr. Dominic Joseph, was one of the charter members. And in a way, it was very nice at that point of time to listen to people like him, the Captain Verghese Kurila, all the stalwarts of industry at that point of time. They would give us so many good stories about, how they made themselves up and how they came up and all that. And I associate myself with him too, in the sense, I remember Dominic Achan telling his story wherein, he actually took over this casino hotel. I think he was running the Taj Malabar at that point of time with a few friends. And once that lease was over, they bought another, or they took on lease this particular building. And they could not run it properly. All his friends, all his partners quit him, but he took it head on. And today you know what the whole story is about, what CGH Earth is. In my case too, I relate that because I too had to take over my company from my partners way back in 1997 when the same kind of problem happened, and I said I will also try my luck, and that is also how I am or where I am today. But it's not a comparison between what CGH Earth is and my company is, but still I'm just telling that's a personal thing. And of course, later, how we all know that the Kerala has been put on the tourism map of India, of the world, because of this one particular family, the Kuruvinakundan family, where Father Dominic Achan was involved. Then his sons took over and they ran it even more successfully. Mr. Sidarth Dominic, his eldest brother, Joseph, as we call him. He is passionate about whatever he does. And now whenever I see him, I don't ask him, because the Perunakondan family per se is a planted family. And I think most of the time when I speak to him, now that he is retired, I think he's concentrating more on the farm side, and every time he gives me inputs like, the cocoa cultivation and the rambutan cultivation and all that, and I think he's very passionate about that. So that's how things go, and that is how the whole thing is. And then later, a few years after, maybe I don't remember, some 20-25 years earlier, I would say, I too got related to that family, because my brother-in-law, my wife's brother, married from that family. Rather, my sister-in-law is from that family, and her father is again both famous and controversial for other reasons, and he is more known as Kadua, I think, or he's known as Kuruvinapundil Kurvachan, but he's, I think, it's based on his story that this the film called Kadua has been taken and all that. So that's another story that we have, and I enjoy actually sitting with all these people in this Kuruvinapundil family, especially Kurvachan as we call it, because he's got a story to tell every time I meet him, and we can speak to them for hours and hours together, and they're very passionate about whatever they're doing. So Sidarth, as we know, has now taken over a great part of his hotel chain, and in fact they're doing it even more professionally than what his elder brothers were doing, and the group is growing from strength to strength. And I think I was telling Sidarth the other day, I also got a small interest in the tourism industry, because since I come from the healthcare industry, I always see only, or rather have seen only, in the healthcare industry is always talking about sickness, pain, and this, that, and all that. So I thought at one point of time that one of my friends wanted to sell her tourism company. So I thought I'll take it over, because at least there is something called happiness in that industry, and that's a happiness industry per se. So when you go for all these meetings and all that, you get some kind of happiness from all that. So that is another thing about the tourism industry. More than everything else, I think that is the biggest industry in this whole wide world, which is growing and which no one can beat. And no doubt, CGH Earth will continue to keep its mark up, and Kerala will be flying high across the world because of mainly this particular family, the Kuruvinapundil family, and with Sidarth and his brothers at the helm of affairs, I'm sure things are going to be even more better for Kerala. Thank you. Let's go over to you, Sidarth.
Once again, a very good evening to all the members of KMA. Thank you, Algiers, Bibu, of course, President, Algiers, in charge of programs, for giving me this opportunity to speak about the subject wellness tourism. I'd like to state a disclaimer here. I'm not a professional, I'm not an expert on wellness tourism. It's just that I've been a practitioner of in the tourism industry, and more than that, over the last 20 years, been more focused and delivering a wellness tourism product. So, have some insights on what has happened in the travel thus far. So I'm just going to change the model. I'd like to just share our story, and hopefully you'll be able to pick up some learnings or something unique from that. Whenever we speak about CGH Earth, I think Bibu, you gave too much, you loaded us with too much. I don't know whether we are, I think Kerala is a unique story, and we are proud that Kerala's development has been different from most tourism destinations, in the sense that Kerala's model has been small local entrepreneurs trying to do what they can, to the best of their ability in a small way. And the appreciation that travelers, global travelers have lauded on Kerala is beyond, words. Because if you look at destinations like Rajasthan, Goa, in India, you can really look at tourism destinations. Okay, you have the Golden Triangle, Delhi, Agra, Jaipur, and what Kerala commands in pricing is something I think which we are, everybody else is jealous of us when they look at the kind of prices we are able to command for the kind of product we have. They say that you guys don't build, those 500, 600 crore hotels, and here we build in, Jaipur or Delhi or an Agra operator will say, I'm spending 400, 500 crores and building a hotel, and I get 7,000, 9,000 rupees a night. Whereas Kerala operator will build for maybe 7, 8 crores or 10 crores and command 25,000 rupees a night. So that's just what experience can deliver. I'd like to just share our story. Our story actually began, what Bibu said is my father was a planter who moved into hoteliering. He had the opportunity to run the Taj Malabar. It used to be, before the Taj Malabar, Dominic, my father, used to run it for 15 years. He ran it because he got it on a lease from the Port Trust. Prior to that, it was run as an English company. Spencer and Company ran the hotel. We ran it for, he ran it for 15 years, lost the bid, and casino was born. And it went on. For us, hoteliering was regular. Everything, what we look around and see as hotels is rooms with food. That's it. We are in the boarding and lodging business. For us, the change happened with our chance to run and operate a resort in Lakshadweep. Not this. So our opportunity to see, we were able to make the Bangaram Island in Lakshadweep. Rajiv Gandhi had just come back from a famous holiday, and he told his the Department of Tourism, guys, this is such a fantastic island, great tourism product. Why don't you put it out to the world? It was a very restrictive area, and it went on tender. My brother Jose was lucky to be invited. We were a very small company. One hotel, casino hotel, is all we ran. Without any financial bandwidth. And he said, if not for anything, there's a free ride by a helicopter going up to 1,500 rupees was what they said. Anybody who wants to make a bid, you pay 1,500 rupees to get a free ride to Bangaram, spend 2 days there and bring you back. He said, if not for anything, I've seen the islands and come back. Otherwise, it was a 3-week journey to go to the island and come back. He went to the island and came back, and he said, okay, we've seen the island. It was mind-blowing, is what he said. He said it was absolute pristine, virgin island, unspoiled, and the sheer beauty of the island just, and captivated him so much, so that for want of capital and if not for anything else, he said, let's put in a project, proposal saying that we will do the minimum possible to the island. We will the priority should be protecting the environment as much as possible, because any development you do that will take away from the beauty of the island. So environment became the kind of focus on which our project was built on. That was the first point. The second point was, he said, nobody knows the islands like the people of Lakshadweep. So let's ensure that the entire team consists of people of the island. So the project proposal went on to say that 90% of the people that constitutes the team would be people from the island. And the third point was, let's offer local flavors, what was on offer is nothing but what the island can provide without taking away from the beauty in terms of, if on the other hand, if a typical Maldivian development would have been power boats, speed boats and skis, jet skis, everything that, it's nice to see, but the damage it does on a very fragile ecosystem, we cannot even begin to understand. So the concept was, let's do low impact experiences which are very, very local, offer cuisine that is from the island, and with those philosophies we made a bid. And the bid was accepted. Apparently the story goes that the Prime Minister himself picked up, because he had a soft corner for the island. He went through all the proposals. I think including the Four Seasons were there in the bid. And our proposal was picked up and said, this is the kind of vision I have for the islands. And we ended up, it's nice to make a proposal, it's another thing to translate that into action. We found ourselves with an island, Virgin Island, and we made a promise. Now it was to really translate that into, in practice. So within 6 months, I think we, in 1988, at a cost of 25 lakhs, we kind of spruced up the guest houses that were run by the government and put 30 rooms. India's first scuba diving outfit also was started. And local cuisine, we went to around the islands, picked up anybody who was willing to people who are fishermen, we called them and said we found out who the first 30 people who were willing to join in a tourism business, and we trained them and became the staff. Why I'm spending some time on Bangaram is because whatever makes CGH is because of our learnings from Bangaram. We ran it, whatever I narrated, as the offer was the island in its purest form. There was no air conditioner, no room service, no telephone, no television, no everything you ask it, no hot water. But people loved us for the product. Global travel, the first year was difficult, but soon the world took notice of it. And the pricing strategy we adopted was, anybody who was visiting the islands would arrive through Bombay. We were pitching it purely for the international audience. So the point was, they would land in Bombay, and at that time, in 1988, the highest priced hotel was the Leela in Bombay, charging about 250 US for a night. So we said, whatever they pay there, they are capable of paying it, which means that that will be the same price we're going to charge here. We applied that price. We didn't know casino was selling at probably under 1,000 rupees in those days, or maybe 1,000 rupees. I don't think we would have reached. Shastri may know better, but it was a very for us to imagine $250 to be charged from a resort was not within our comprehension. We charged that price. The reaction of people who came there and said that this was refreshing. They traveled to Spain, they traveled to Hawaii, they traveled to Maldives, they traveled globally to tropical islands, and they found that this was a place that had a philosophy to really offer a touch and feel of the destination. People came and and the only comment they left us was, please leave the place as it is. So it went on, we ran the place for 22 years. So in the course of that 22 years, we had many learnings. The learnings was respect environment is respect for environment and environment sensitivity is non-negotiable, inclusive of the community, and what you offer should be local to that destination. With those learnings, we came to the mainland, and in the mainland we first set up the experiment. Okay, the reasoning was Lakshadweep was an extremely beautiful destination. The power, the draw of the island was so powerful, it could overwhelm anything else. We tested that in the mainland, and we found that the first option we chose was Thekadi. Thekadi was want of a new kind of a property. We just chose Thekadi. We thought, let's start with Thekadi. And what we put together was a tribal village. We translated all our learnings, environmentally conscious property, built in the philosophy of the region. It was the Manan tribal kind of architecture. The food on offer was very local to that region. We had, the people from the villages around became the people who staffed the operations. And the property was opened in 1991. And not to boast, we built Spice Village at a cost of 1.5 crore for 37 rooms, including the land. It was inconceivable. Today, a property, if you want to build a hotel, you're talking of per room key, which starts at 1.5 crores, 2 crores, 3 crores, 4 crores is the per key cost. We built the entire property at 1.5 crores. Our payback was probably in 2 years. We were paid out because there was no rooms available from the day we opened. What inspired, or what the kind of, it was the overwhelming response that gave us the confidence that we were doing something right. People were traveling not for built ostentation. People were traveling for, new experiences. People were traveling for experiencing what was the true inherent value of the place. It was in that time that we attended a conference in Hampi. And the conference was by a German professor who was talking about the two kinds of travelers. He described the age-old traveler as the SSS traveler, sun, surf, sand traveler. He was a person who ran away from cold Europe or any cold country to a warmer country, seeking sun, surf, and sand. Nothing else. It didn't matter. He was not concerned about the destination. He just went there because he ran away from the cold, went there, indulged, and went back. That was that was one kind of traveler. He said there was a growing segment of traveler called the AIT traveler, the alert independent traveler. This traveler, with a lot of studies had been done on this kind of travelers. And he said that this kind of traveler was different in the sense that he researched the land he was going to. He was concerned about the human rights values of that location. He was concerned about his environmental impact on that destination and many other factors. So we realized that our pitch as an enterprise was slowly moving towards the alert independent traveler. And from there we went on to develop Spice Village, was a tribal village set in a spice garden next to the Periyar Tiger Reserve. Coconut Lagoon was a typical central Kerala village set on the banks of the backwater. Everything that resembled central Travancore, what was the essence of, quintessence of what Coconut Lagoon offered. Marari Beach was a fishing village on Marari. See, Marari Kulam was an undiscovered village. It was always there as a beach. But in the search, we realized that you don't have to be in a Kovalam or you don't have to be in a Goa. You go to a beach and offer what the beach can offer, that destination can offer. And today, everybody is running towards Maranikulam, saying that it's the greatest beach close to Cochin or in this part of the world. So Maranikulam became a fishing village. Brunton Boatyard was a colonial offering. The brief to the architect was, that building never existed. It's very interesting if you go sit in, if you've been to Brunton, you sit there and you'll have a foreign group or many foreigners who will come and you'll hear the guide saying that this is a 500-year-old building. So the building is maybe 25 years now, but the brief to the architect was build it like it was built in the Portuguese or Dutch era. And he's done a brilliant job of it. But the essence was it all trickled down from our learning from Lakshadweep. Experience, bring in the local flavor and environment. Wherever the environment became non-negotiable. Kalari Kobalagam was the palace which we took on and made into an Ayurveda offering. I'm just spending a little time because this is where our philosophy was born. This is some images of Spice Village, which is built like a tribal village. Coconut Lagoon, which is it is a conservation project also. Most of the old houses of Kerala were being torn down and being sold as scrap, and many of them ending up in Jewtown to be used for furniture, and other parts were used for being exported as things. That's when we went around the country, went around the state and bought close to 70 houses and put them up piece by piece. These are all tongue and groove architecture, unique Kerala architecture. We reassembled them in its original form back in that land we call where Coconut Lagoon sits. We've got 52 keys there. Marari, the other pictures of Marari beach, which is set like a fishing village. So now I'll just move into how we kind of chanced upon wellness. For us, when we went around, we said that it all came down to experiences that we can deliver. In Spice Village, what we were trying to allow travelers to Periyar experience was a touch and feel of the flora, the fauna, which the Western Ghats, it's what can really captivate somebody was the flora above everything else. Of course, you have the Periyar Tiger Reserve. Apart from that, there was we set up new concepts like interpretation centers. See, one change we did is normally in a hotel room, TVs had come in and everybody puts a big TV. You don't have to worry about entertaining guests. But we said, look, let's make the traveler also education becomes part of it. Otherwise what typically happens, of course, today we are all tied up with our digital devices. Otherwise, earlier days it was you go on a holiday, get into your room, switch on the TV, you lie on the bed and wait for lunch. Then you lie on the bed, you wait for dinner. But watch TV, watch movies and all that. We said, look, there are children, families, there's so much of interpretation that can come from nature around you. We put in naturalists into the property. That was a new concept we brought in, saying that every property we invested a lot of money in appointing people we called naturalists, whose only job was to talk about. He would gather groups of guests together and take them around and show them how spices grew, how spices were harvested, what are the plants to be seen there. Even our guests who went into Periyar Tiger Reserve was escorted so that they had a newer idea of what is out there, what makes the forest tick. So from there we went to Coconut Lagoon. We went about offering different experiences. Even a simple experience like climbing a coconut tree became an experience. Opening a coconut became an experience. Wearing a sari became an experience. Simple things. We also went into an interesting program at Coconut Lagoon where the Trichur Agriculture College in Manoti, they came and approached us, and over a conversation they said there is this breed of cows called the Vechur cattle, which is almost on the verge of extinction. See, why don't you, it was a wild idea that I think it was one Professor Shoshama, she said, why don't we just keep one few of our cattle, we'll give you some cattle, why don't you put them around in the grounds, let them walk around, and then your naturalist can articulate to guests, say that this is the Vechur cattle, which is almost gone, and the uniqueness of that breed of cattle, it's a miniature cow. So we had cattle running around. Many years later, we found that many resorts opened. They said, these guys put cows in the yard, so we also will put cows in the yard. Anyway, that's jokes apart, but we found that people who came to these properties really reveled and wondered in nature because of all these little things we did. In that effort, we found that one offering could be Ayurveda. So we went around many Ayurveda hospitals, Kottakkal, all those places, and said, maybe let's set up a small Ayurveda center also in the property. And this was 1993, and we set up a little Ayurveda clinic in Coconut Lagoon. And what we realized that we had tourists coming, nobody stayed for long periods of time, but there was tremendous interest in an Ayurveda product. It was not for treatment. People came and we had almost 60-70% of people opting for it was just taking a general body massage or with a steam bath. This went on for maybe the first year. By the second year onwards, we started seeing, but we had set up the center in a format that there was a doctor with therapists. And we found from second year onwards, we had guests who would come back and say, we'd like to do the doctor would have, in the meantime, sold a longer program. The doctor would have convinced the person, see, you have arthritis, if you come back next year for a longer program, we can do something. And we slowly started seeing that there was more interest in Ayurveda. And this interest started to really become, it started snowballing into quite a large response from our clients. So much so that we went around wherever we put a property in Kerala, we started adding Ayurveda, plugged in small Ayurveda facilities to those centers. In that time, connected to the subject of the discussion, it was not yet fashionable to say wellness travel. It was just another activity available, experience in Ayurveda, massage in the property. It was at that time, because of the response, the idea of setting up a place dedicated to Ayurveda came in. It was coincidentally at that time the Kalari Kovalagam Palace in Kolangod, the owners of it, the Tambirati, came to us and said, look, this palace is available, why don't you guys take it up and run it as a resort like Rajasthan has a lot of havelis and palaces that are run as palace resorts. Why don't you convert it to one of those? And he said, she only made a condition. She said, by the way, there was a tradition of the palace, which was no alcohol, no leather footwear, and no meat was permitted inside the palace. If you respect our traditions, we would appreciate that. So we put that together, and we were also looking at an option to set up an Ayurveda place. We said, let's do it in this facility. And thereby, we went about and converted the old palace in Kolangod into, we had to do, it was really falling apart. We restored it using the inputs of INTAC, which is a conservation society. And they helped us to restore the place back as well as possible into a 19 key Ayurveda center. We did a lot of research on what constitutes an Ayurveda hospital. So that's the palace. One thing it is one thing to run a resort with an Ayurveda center attached to it. It is another ball game to say that we are going to run literally, we didn't know whether this was a hospital or was it a resort. This was something in between. It was confusing. This led to a lot of challenges, concerns, doubts. Are we doing the right thing? Are we thinking straight? Much concern in our boardroom and much debates. Look at the dreaming of dedicated Ayurveda center. We were setting a new benchmark. What I mean by that, we had said that, in Lakshadweep, we had said we price it high and do something different. Were we trying to compete with a Kottakkal Ayurveda Shala or a Coimbatore Ayurveda Shala? We couldn't. They knew their game. We were not in that game, and we wouldn't be able to attract clients to our, into a hospital. We were known as a hospitality company. To go tell a tourist that we run a Ayurveda hospital now, nobody's going to, look at you. So these were the concerns. Was it a resort or a hospital? Did we have the bandwidth? It is one thing to operate. We knew how to run resorts. How do you manage doctors and teams? Where do you find therapists? What are the nuances of running a Ayurveda center? Where are we going to find our clients? We had access to a whole world of travel trade. Travel professionals send us clients and we service them when they came here, tour operators, travel agents and the likes. But they don't have access to people who are traveling for wellness. So where are we going to find our clients? And then how long would we stay true to the promise? See, we started Kalari Kovalagam with these high ideals. And year one, we saw probably an occupancy of under 10%. And tour operator and our community trade partners came to us and said, "You guys, what are you trying to do? We'll give you a simple solution. Give a 2-day program, throw in some beer, some lobster in the evenings, have some kathakali and all that in the evenings, and don't make anything serious. Let people do what they want, and we'll keep your place going like the resorts in Rajasthan." But we said, no, this is going to be an Ayurveda place and let's stick to it. We held on, persisted, and there has been no looking back. I must say that since 2004, when we commenced Kalari Kovalagam, year 1, year 2 was difficult. From year 3 onwards, we started seeing, initially what we did was, we reached out to the travel trade who was, who was feeding us our clients, and told them, why don't you mention in your brochures and everywhere in the world that there are these Ayurveda. Ayurveda is now available for the international audience. Back in the day, there were few countries which had some information. Germany had some information, and Switzerland had some information on Ayurveda. And they were scared to come and stay in a Kottakkal or any of those places because probably they were not in the business of catering to international audience. So the operators started conveying to them there are places which are operating authentic Ayurveda centers catering to an Ayurveda audience. So with that, we set up Kalari Kovalagam, and what really worked for us was, having organically grown from travel, leisure, we kind of tested out this in our resorts with small Ayurveda centers, gained confidence, and then eventually opened up a focused area, utilizing the existing trade channels for promoting this programs. And our focus was on the international. We didn't know how to, in those days, 75 or 80% of our entire clientele was only international. And the existing team that was able to understand and implement, I must give credit to the team that was able to quickly kind of understand what we were trying to do, our internal team, and we had people from different units we found who was interested in yoga, and it meant changing their lifestyle. All of our wellness places are vegetarian, even the staff cafeterias are vegetarian, and you lead almost a hermit's life. They are almost ashram type in its approach. So and we were lucky with the first location which was Kalari Kovalagam. Kalari Kovalagam, the response was I think over the last 19 years of thing. Initially what we started off was we offered very simple programs of weight management, detox, and stress management. 3 programs was on offer. Because the challenge in Kalari Kovalagam was we had to tell people there are programs starting at minimum was 2 weeks, 3 weeks or 4 weeks. And a person sitting in Germany or Switzerland or Russia or America had to fix the number. His onward ticket and return ticket was already confirmed. And he came here and we had no option but to say that, look, you're here for this many days and the doctor has to then retrofit in a program for you. So there was complication. And that was the only program we sold. We were focused on very light wellness. As we went along, we realized that people who were traveling were not willing to travel for light wellness. Everybody had serious conditions, and they were taking up those serious conditions. It could be lifestyle issues, from diabetes to various other medical conditions with our doctors. In that journey, we kind of started realizing, talking to our doctors, saying that let's move, up the bar and moved to a more serious program, and we started offering more serious treatment options at Kalrikovalagam, including from diabetes to people who have, we started seeing a lot of people who are, had cancer treatment and were coming for remission period, and they found that they were getting a lot of benefit in between that treatment. So all kind of things was happening, and the place started becoming more serious. The point I'm making is the place started getting more serious than it's just a mere wellness center. At that point, we realized, let's then move and make it NABH accredited. So we went on and made it NABH accredited space. This Kalrikovalagam proved to be a successful model, which led us to start a second one in Kollam. This is called Kalari Rasayana, which is exactly a similar project offering. It was a resort earlier built by somebody else from Kerala who lives in the UK, who didn't know how to run it as a resort. He came to us and said, why don't you guys run it as a resort? But it was at the time when we were looking for a second option. So we got him to convert the place into an Ayurveda hospital, and we developed it into a second Ayurveda hospital. This is about 22 keys. Some uniqueness of what the Kalari, the Ayurveda option which we offered was the price point. We decided that our inventory, the luxury we were going to deliver was low density. We said that each of our space would be 20-25 rooms at most, but it needed large numbers of people to service these few clients. Just for some numbers, doctors, there would be 6 to 7 or 8 doctors, there would be 30-35 therapists, plus the entire the hotel hospitality team. So the large number of staff, and it was a costly operation. So we said, when we looked at pricing, we plucked a figure that was outrageous. We were looking at a price point of 50,000-55,000 rupees a night, and minimum ticket was 2 weeks. This guts came from Lakshadweep. So we said, this is the price, take it or leave it. No alcohol, no meat. You are 55, and it can go up to 75,000 rupees a night, and minimum duration is 2 weeks. But it was lapped up, and it was primarily the Indian. It was an Indian, international audience. It was the German-speaking world that came to this to these Ayurveda centers. It was focused on Germany, Switzerland, Austria. Then it spread across Europe. And suddenly then we saw a rush in, the CIS countries started coming in large numbers. All the oligarchs would fly into Cochin on their private jets and come there for 2 weeks, 3 weeks and fly back. So, and the big thing we have seen in these places is the returning numbers. People have come 18 years, there are people who have come 18 times. Not few numbers, you're talking of large percentages of numbers of guests who have repeated. It goes up to as much as 35% of our clientele as returning clientele. So that gave us a sense of confidence in the wellness world, that in CGH we realized that now we are talking something really serious. So we carved out, I used to look after operations at one point of time, so we carved out a separate vertical from the mother company, which we called CGH Earth Wellness, just to give it the importance that was, we thought that it was something that was worth pursuing. And we had not looked at data which you were talking about the growth in the sector. But today when we look back and look at the kind of, the data out there, Kerala Travel Mart just concluded a few days back, and we had the president of Sita World Travel giving a presentation where he was talking of the sector. He was giving a presentation which his international company had shared with him. And they were talking of segments of the future trends, and he was talking of the biggest growth sector is going to be this wellness, traditional wellness space. See, wellness travel and wellness tourism is a very large subject. Under that, there is many sections, and one of the sections is holistic traditional medicine, and that's where we are operating. And there was a highlight saying that this looks like a sector which is going to see large growth. With the learnings of Ayurveda, we went about and set up something in Gokarna, which is just south of Goa. This is, we called it Swaswara. See, we had picked up a nice piece of land on the beach in just outside Goa in the North Karnataka. And in our internal discussions on what kind of a concept we should do, we thought of, let's create another Lakshadweep or different concepts. But we said that somebody who's landing in Goa and driving down is going to pass 20, 30, 40 resorts before reaching there. And all of them are similar, each one offering the same product, different levels of luxury, 7-star, 8-star, 9-star, 10-star, whatever. And you come down here, by the time they reach the last property or outside Goa, there won't be anybody left to come here because there's nothing different. So we went about setting some, we had learned about Ayurveda from Kalarikovalagam. We meshed resort with Ayurveda and said we created a hybrid model where we offered a different kind of holiday, and a holiday where one can, we went into the world of wellness holidays, where people came into purpose of the visit was still holiday, but at the same time, everything that was on offer had a wellness twist to it. The activities would revolve around meditation, about yoga, about chanting and nature walks and different things. And we made it an adult holiday space. It was not open to children, people below 15. However, we had to change the rules. COVID came along and it disrupted everything because we found that we had to open it up for even including children. But the concept here was it's still holiday with a wellness attitude. And today Swaswara continues to offer that and has been doing well, which we want to replicate this model in new locations. This also became one of our wellness products. Swaswara on offer was everything was again when the learnings from Lakshadweep was very local to that terrain. It was situated in North Kannada. The food was North Kannada or Konkan. It was the on offer was yoga, Ayurveda, naturopathy, and art, and also just do nothing holidays, program-driven culinary journeys. Many of that, and we found a big following for that. And the difference we found in these kind of holiday spaces, again talking of wellness tourism, was wellness tourism. We discovered people were willing to spend higher. If a person came to a Marari beach and spent say 10,000 rupees a night, in a wellness place, the same person was willing to spend maybe 15,000 to 20,000 was our discovery. So that also, and the duration of stay made a big difference. In a Marari, if he stayed 2 nights, here he would stay 4 nights because he wanted to kind of engage with the programs on offer. So these were some discoveries we made. This is the Swaswara property. It is built in a Konkan style on a beach. It's a famous beach called the Om Beach, and the lake you see is part of our environment initiative. The entire requirement of water is caught in the lake. We collect about I think 10 crore liters of water, and that is what sustains us throughout the year. In fact, we've been telling the government, because that is a very water-starved area, and during the monsoon there's plenty of rain. We keep telling the government, just go around and build lakes, and it doesn't cost the earth to build a lake. Anyway, we just put a plastic lining and pitched it with stone. Another wellness, as we went along, we gained confidence in the wellness travel, wellness tourism world, and we came out with a new product about 6 years ago, what we call Prakriti Shakti. At Swaswara, we had the opportunity where we ran programs facilitated by experts who came from Canada and from Bombay. These programs, they came with their clients. They took the entire space for sometimes 3 weeks, 2 weeks, and ran different kinds of programs. And we realized the programs they ran were all naturopathy programs. And they had a big, the first program I attended along with that, there was a doctor of naturopathy who ran the program. And what I realized was all the participants was you had many doctors from Bombay, medical, allopathic doctors who were also part of the audience. And I stayed there for 14 days. And the program included mostly it was learning about the lifestyle. Through the naturopathy lifestyle, they gave you raw food the whole day. And otherwise it was walks and talks and meditation and yoga and all of that. And it went on for 14 days and people, they had consultation with the doctors and they found relief from whatever condition people came from. So in that journey, we found that this person who took Swaswara became regular. He used to take the place for 2 years because for twice a year, for every year, he came with it's 24 rooms into maybe 48 guests and took it for 31 days twice a year and did this for year after year, which means there's a big audience. And so we came into a mind that let's try out a naturopathy space. And thus was born in Peermade in Kerala, a space devoted to naturopathy. There are many naturopathy centers all over Kerala. Naturopathy centers are very cheap and easy to run. In fact, Mahatma Gandhi was a big proponent of naturopathy. He advocated naturopathy because it was the cheapest way to wellness. But we didn't want to make it the cheapest way. We said, let's offer naturopathy in its genuine, authentic naturopathy with following the principle. We hired, there was a team of doctors, therapists, and a high-end space offering some unique aspects of Prakriti Shakti. It's a flameless kitchen. The complete diet is 100% raw. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, that is if you get any food. Most of it is fasting. But we pitched it at, again, price point was high. The point I'm trying to make is the realization that more and more people are getting and wanting to, look after themselves. And it's a global audience out there. We pitched Prakriti Shakti, while the Ayurveda places were pitched towards international audience, Prakriti Shakti, we said we'll pitch it squarely to the Indian audience. The data we had was India is becoming a very sick population. Our increasing wealth has led to fast food and our way of our lifestyle, and all those are leading to a population that is overweight and dealing with hypertension, high diabetes, plus, all the conditions. We have become world capital. So there is a big market out there. Let's tap that market, and people have money to do this. So we were pitching it purely for that, but the response we had was, we have again an equal number of international as well as domestic audience to Prakriti Shakti. Price point is again high. It's completely different from Ayurveda. There is no similarity. Ayurveda believes in the Ayurvedic protocol. Naturopathy believes the body has the ability to heal itself. You need to provide the the environment, and the body will heal. So all that the therapies revolve around the elements of nature: earth, mud, water, sun, and all of that. And a lot of it is dieting and fasting. So we have a team of doctors who delivers the product at Prakriti Shakti. That's the space itself. He's our chief doctor, Dr. Sidarth. Lot of yoga and that's so our journey thus far in wellness has been, we've reached Prakriti Shakti. As we speak, we are developing another naturopathy center in Uttarakhand, hoping to go live by March or April of 2025. So it's getting ready. But we are extremely bullish that this is going to be a sector that is going to see much action. When we talk of the world of wellness, travel and tourism, it's a big subject. It goes from nutraceuticals to wearables of health products to over-the-counter drugs to, exercising, different kind of, Pilates, to all that is encompassed. But we have been very focused on holistic wellness. And we in fact, even think there is an opportunity for restaurants in cities which will offer, absolute health-oriented, plant-based or really healthy, hyper-healthy kind of cuisine. We think there is no place like that. So these have been some thoughts that we've been toying with. But at this point, we are very bullish about the sector and growing it. We are expanding as we speak. We've got one Prakriti Shakti #2 coming up in Uttarakhand, and we are looking at another Ayurveda center again in Kerala. We believe that Kerala should take ownership of Ayurveda and become the place to go to. If you want to do Ayurveda, you should come to Kerala. Though the North will say that Ayurveda was part of their domain also. But I think Kerala has done extremely well in, Kerala Ayurveda has become a brand. You go anywhere in the world, you go to Vienna, you go to Russia, deep in Moscow, you'll see Kerala Ayurveda centers. So I think there is a huge opportunity in this world. That is the world I know, and I've only shared my experience of our journey thus far. I hope it has been useful to you. Thank you.
Yes, friends, as we all know, last week we had the digital summit, and the core of that also was, although we would say AI and everything, ultimately it would end up in the human being and the human at its core. And I think that is what right now Siddharth and his brothers are trying to bring back, take us all back into nature. Rather, I don't know whether they can take us back, because I think it is probably the foreigners that they will be focusing on. But I think you're opening it up for the Indians too. A few.
I think one point I really missed was post-COVID. There's been a big change in our, the clientele. Clientele has shifted from, in Ayurveda centers we saw less than 5% India. Today it is almost 50% Indians, and Prakriti Shakti, it's again 50-50. So it's a big change that we have seen.
Thank you. Now the floor is open for any questions.
What is the status of Bangaram now?
Bangaram, in fact, is up for tender, and my nephew is at the island. It's been run to the ground. Sorry to say, but it used to be a beautiful island. When we were given the island, they had done a carrying capacity study, and 60 rooms, means 30 rooms, 60 guests with 40 staff, 100 people on the island. All that has been thrown in the wind. Today, I think they're building a tent city. They've already added 100 rooms. There is complete disregard. Environment does not feature.
I asked the question because I was one of the fortunate guys to visit Bangaram when it was truly virgin. They just had a couple of glass bottom boats and the mechanized boat that brought us to the island. And my dad used to be the director of health services in Lakshadweep, based at Kavrati, and we used to go to Kalpeni and then take the transfer over. And it was amazing even at that time. There was one or two, maybe two dark bungalows there at that time, with a team of around 2 people there, a night watchman and a cook who used to interchange their roles and all that.
But the beauty of Lakshadweep is so spectacular.
Even the other islands, there are 10 inhabited islands. Those days there were 10. With Bitra, which was only 120 population. But I'm sure it should have grown a lot. I will keep in touch. Thank you. It was nice.
How did you manage during the COVID? Because the hospitality industry took a hit.
COVID was the most difficult. I think it was a big learning for us. We did not think we'll survive. Honestly, if you ask me, we were at, I can see our head of HR is there, but we were at a number of, we were at about 1,200 employees. We brought it down to probably 200 just to maintain the properties. and that too we didn't know how long it will last. So, but we had many learnings how to become smarter in our operation, become leaner in our operations. I think the biggest learning for me from COVID was, the style of management changed. How do you make your team part of understand what you are trying to communicate, giving ownership to them, giving responsibility, and they taking on that, sharing your vision and your pain and gain with them. I think that was the biggest change that we found post-COVID.
Did you have to close down resorts?
During the lockdown, of course, they were closed, but we maintained them through. We had the ability, because we were a larger enterprise, to sustain, which was not the case for many companies which had to close. We put them all back as soon as every time it was possible to. We had to reinvent. Prices were slashed. We did many changes. In fact, the Ayurveda, we were the first Ayurveda place to reopen because there was so much of demand, especially from India. That's when the shift happened. People were seeking, suddenly they realized maybe Ayurveda would be help in immunity boosting. So they started asking, when can you open? So we kind of devised a bubble. The bubble meant that staff who came there had to stay there till a full cycle was complete. So there was no going home. We accommodated everybody inside. You went into the bubble and left the bubble only maybe once a month or once in 45 days. And the guests went in through all the testing and everything. And there were so many cases who came in, and then you get crisis. Somebody turns COVID and panic sets in. Nobody knew what this COVID was.
I had a great experience during COVID in Spice Village. We were two guests, myself and my wife, and Justice Jayashankar Nambiar and Indu. Only two people in the 52 cottage. And the receptionist was also the waiter. He was also a naturalist. And they invited us to kitchen to cut vegetables. So that's how they did it. But it was a great experience. They showed us Ettigalis on the thing. That was sightseeing tour showing us Ettigalis. So that was real innovation. And I was really flabbergasted by my experience in that village during COVID time. How they innovated and how they made the guests experience different things. Kudos to you, actually.
Sir, your business model is mainly focused on foreigners and high cost. Average Keralite cannot expect to come to your place and benefit. One, have you given thought to this issue? Let me complete, sir. Whether given thought to this problem, this situation that you are mostly for very rich clients abroad and in India. So the average Keralite cannot benefit. Now, since you are, apart from food, you are also focusing on wellness. Why not think of a side issue? You are getting a lot of results. For example, to give one example, we have mudras, and I saw one picture with a mudra there. So you take Vayu mudra. Through your continuous work you are doing there, if you can get some research out of it and publish something that will benefit the Keralites who cannot come there and do it, but benefit from your well-researched results. Similarly, for many other treatments that you are having, because these things we go by what we read in the Google and YouTube, and they need not be true.
We have started actually. Thank you for that. We have started advising our doctors to publish, testimonials and the papers on their findings, which we have just started as a new initiative, because that validates the product much more than what has been. Regarding the price point, we have decided to operate at that price point. It's a big opportunity out there, and there is potential to operate at different price points. It is just that as an enterprise, our focus has been to look at that segment. But I'm sure there are many operators running Ayurveda and naturopathy products in the market at different price points. It's that we didn't want to operate at multiple price points, which would defeat our business logic. So that was though there is a temptation for us to get into that also, but we have stayed clear, thinking that it would challenge one of the products. Why should I pay X if you are also running at a lower price point? So our focus has been a premium segment. It's not any particular reason, but we think that is, as a business model, we think there is more. We see a lot of potential.
I am Suresh Kumar here. I belong to Kuttanad, but for the last 5 decades I am here. I thought you will talk about Kuttanad tourism something. Anyway, that is left to you if there is time permits. The houseboats, etc. Because when the houseboat they have started, one of my friends, Mr. Mugundamilla, he started that first report there, so I remember that. And one thing which you have mentioned is customer is not the king, which I saw that there. Generally, it is said that customer is the king. How is that?
Yeah, that was a learning for us from Lakshadweep when we said that the focus, our learnings of environment, we will not compromise the environment. We have our philosophy. People who appreciate us for what we are will find satisfaction in what we deliver. But we will not modify our product to satisfy customers. That is the meaning of what we said. Customer will not dictate to us, I want that, so then you change the product to that. It was like holding the tiger by the tail. So our philosophy has been, let's define the product, which we understand after much thought, which we have identified, and say that this is what we have, and put it out there, and people who appreciate. And we find there is a large community of people who appreciate that kind of a product.
So why you, it is an experience, Earth Experience Hotel and what you say, then why you named as casino?
Historically, when my father started, he ran the Malabar Hotel, and when he was setting up, Bibu described setting up the new hotel.
Yes.
A friend of his had come back from a long cruise, and he said, whatever you do, you call the place casino and people will come to you.
Any further plans to start casino?
No, casinos are not, it's as far away from our philosophy and concept as we can. So that is why in 2004 we decided to, take the name away from us. Though the old casino hotel continues to be called casino hotel, CGH is today, if you ask me what it stands for, it's clean, green, healthy. It's not casino group of hotels.
Any other further hotels in India?
We have a big portfolio plan. We are looking at a rapid expansion. We think that the India growth story is a big opportunity in wellness and in travel and tourism. So,
Public issue? Public issue coming up?
Also.
Chances are there.
You talked about growth. Your business model is very mindful, thoughtful, very authentic, very caring. So how do you manage this? How do you scale up? How do you manage this? Staying true to your ideals and managing the growth. It's paradoxical. How do you
It is paradoxical, but we think that green is good for business, but it is a difficult path. It's not an easy path. The cookie cutter model is the easy path, but we think the competition out there is big, and we believe, and we are green, and we believe it's the best business proposition. We are not a NGO, or we are a for-profit organization, and we believe in maximization of profit and we believe this is the best route. It does not mean that we can hit multiple purpose. We can we have the audacity to say that where there's a CGH property, the environment will get better. It's not to boast, but I'm saying that we tell our GMs, go out there, get involved in local issues. It can be cleaning of the areas around you, it can be education in the schools, in all the public, whatever possible measures you can get involved and see what, as they're also stakeholders. We do not want to, when you say inclusive the community, there was this, I think, Kerala initiative of responsible travel. And the whole thing was, how do you get the surrounding people also to benefit from a business house presence in a destination. We are inhabiting their lands, and it's their, we are in fragile ecosystems. We are not in cities. We are mostly in the rural settings. So we believe that to become part of that ecosystem only helps and strengthens your business thing. Even the segment of travelers who are going to who you will see in the future are people who are happy to see that they're not in a hostile environment. They want to see that you are, because of your presence or because of their travel to you, you have done a lot of changes. I'm taking a simple example. The glass, we used to buy hundreds of bottles of mineral water. We decided, probably I think it's more than 15 years ago, to shift to glass bottles. Today, I will tell you that most hotels in India have shifted because the pressures out there, people will look down on you if you are still continuing to serve plastic bottles. Single-use plastic bottles. The earth cannot sustain this anymore. In fact, I was attending a conference in Morocco about 15 days ago. They were talking of travel may in the future become a privilege. The way climate crisis is going to be the big challenge we are going to face. We are seeing it. And the way climate crisis is going to unfold, we don't know how. 2018 we thought was a blip in our thing. But 2018, 2019, 2021, 22, every year now we are seeing floods, high winds, wind speeds, and climate crisis inducing health crisis. So, environment is going to become, and we have to be the custodians for our own sake. We also make a statement: don't do it for the traveler, do it for yourself. If we want to live in a good environment, look after it for ourselves. Don't do anything for the problem.
Siddharth, one simple question. See, to find a guy running a 5-star hotel and moving into 6-star or 7-star is completely easy. I mean, he's used to
that will
that
be the
style.
last question, please.
All right. Now, in your case, each destination offers a different challenge. Second aspect is a guy who has been successful in a resort, say in Goa or some even smaller place, he would hate to come and settle down in a place like Munnar or things of that sort. So how do you manage this, getting the right people for each of your hotels, which is very important? How do you go about getting that?
It's a HR challenge, right? You're talking about the HR.
Sorry?
You're talking about the people in the team.
You know who's going to manage the thing, especially the key people, to get the right people.
I think rightly said, Jacob, the biggest challenge is going to be the HR challenge going forward. And looking at the outflow of people from our state seeking careers and jobs and settling outside, we have restrained ourselves from hiring, if you go to Sarovaram or Uttuvara, everybody is from the north, Orissa or wherever, and he's learned Malayalam. We have people from each village, neighborhood who is still manning us. It's becoming a big challenge to find the right people and retaining them. Attrition levels are high, but we have to reinvent and make the workplace a sought after workplace. It is a big challenge. If you don't ask me, it's a long conversation. I think these are subjects that in management we are spending maximum time on, is how to solve HR issues. How do we look at this new workforce? Looking at the new gen youngster, his requirement is completely different from yesterday's person. He wants his space, he wants his time, he wants his freedom, and we have to respect that. It's not the old police system where we said you do and the person did it. The guy who comes out of a business school or a hotel school yesterday, day after tomorrow, he wants to sit on a manager's chair. He doesn't want to go through the long struggles. So these are big challenges we have. How to address it as an enterprise, I think, are subjects which we haven't found solutions. We have to work on this. This is going to be the big challenge. Thank you.
It's good.
After listening to the story of CGH Earth, all the people who are members of the KMA and the management fraternity will definitely understand the story of CGH is a typical case of management by disruption. Here we have Mr. Dominic Jose, who started the group, started with disruption, bringing in inbound tourism into Kerala. Keralites, as we all know, were not much of travelers till the 60s and 70s when we were looking for traveling outside, while Mr. Jose Dominic steered the inbound tourism, and today they are going into a totally different direction in the hospitality business, and we are all proud that this industry has survived in different formats in Kerala. And looking at the year when KMA was founded, it's almost the same time that CGH started its journey. On behalf of the KMA, I thank Sidarth for enlightening us on the journey of CGH Earth. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I request the President to hand over a memento on behalf of KMA. I take this opportunity to inform you that next week we have the Leadership Insight lecture series on sustainable innovation, lessons from Paris Olympics. The speaker is Mr. Axel Guyon, country manager. It is on the 11th October, which is a Friday, at 6:30 p.m. All are requested to take advantage of that lecture. Thank you.
जनगणमन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे।
Sir, namaskaram.
You with the KMA.
Thanks.